Welcome to the other side of 40. My name is April Grant, and I'm here to help women make positive changes with their lives after the age of 40. Let the other side of 40 become your community to find inspiration and support to start the next chapter of your life. Today we welcome Darnita Young. She is a busy wife, mother, vision mentor, and owner of Pray Enterprises, LLC. Her mission is to encourage, empower, and equip busy women with tools that will catapult their lives to the next level. She is passionate about sharing the love of Christ, giving practical tips to seek God in a greater way, as seen on her blog, The Pleading Mom, and helping Christian entrepreneurs walk in the vision that God has for their business. Darnita is currently working on starting a nonprofit organization, Pleading Mom, Plead No More, to help women with resources after divorce and traumatic life experiences to eliminate depression, anxiety, and financial destruction. Hey, welcome. Today we have Darnita Young, and she is a mom boss. She works and she has built her business as a mom that also has a daughter that studies at home. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey? What got you to what kind of business you're in? How did you get to where you are right now?
Absolutely. Years ago, I say years ago, but just probably about three and a half years ago, I was working for a company. A little bit about my background. I am a licensed cosmetologist. And so that's pretty much it. Like, I'm a licensed cosmetologist, but in my field, I've had the amazing opportunity to be in leadership I was in leadership for probably about the 13 years out of the 15, 16 years that I was licensed. And so I've had the amazing opportunity to grow businesses, to launch salons, to work as an instructor, to work as a school director, so that I can, enroll students and encourage them on their journey, and even to be able to be a district leader of salons and businesses and to grow their businesses and launch their businesses, which is really a great opportunity. So about 3 years ago, I had the amazing opportunity to work for a company that was really growing, and it really opened up my eyes on how to grow businesses in a different way, because they had intensive training. They trained you. It wasn't a franchise, so they had to train every district leader as if your salons were your franchise. And so I completely had to run them as as a business, and it was great education. But what happened is I went through a divorce, and my world kind of crumbled. Long story short, I had to take a different position.
Right.
And I slowly dwindled away from my career in the cosmetology industry. And it was heartbreaking for me because I had 2 little children. I became a single mom, and it was difficult. I couldn't work the hours. I couldn't travel like I used to. And so I had to step down. It was suggested that I did that. So I was heartbroken in several ways, because I felt
your
like
whole world
I was a
turned upside down.
failure. Yeah, I had already failed in my marriage, and I
You
felt
did
like I
not
was failing
fail
as a
in your
parent.
marriage. We got to
Well,
rewrite
this is
that
how I
program.
felt at that time.
Okay. All right.
I'm a fast
Okay.
forward, girl. I'm a fast forward. But this is how I felt
Okay.
during that time. Like, there was really, I wasn't living the life at that point, as I was getting ready to transition into my 40s.
Right.
I did not have the life that I felt like I should have, and that I should had. And I was working as a manager and as a stylist, and I just was like in a place, and I was just like, this is not what I have in my life,
Right.
And so to fast forward, I ended up getting remarried. I ended up getting remarried to my ex-husband, which is
Okay.
which is crazy. That's a whole nother story. But
You're not
so
alone
we
out
got
there.
right, we got remarried, a few years later, and he, he has his own business, and so I started helping him with his business, and transitioning my daughter because she went through some bullying and different things like that. So this whole mom world was like really surrounding me in a sense, because of course I've been a mom. I have a 22-year-old is my 22-year-old is my oldest daughter. So I've been a mom for a long time, but I'm gonna be honest, like I never had to be like 100% all day mom. Like,
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense. But so we transitioned my daughter because we moved from Minnesota to Jacksonville, transitioned her from being in public school to homeschool. I went from working, all the time to staying home. And then I also have a 5-year-old, which then he was about 3, and so I was full-time mom. And I remember, and it was fine, it's like I've never been a stay-at-home mom before. I'm not domestic. So, I mean, like I know a lot of my friends that stay home, and they cook and they clean, and like this is their livelihood. And I just was not grasping it. Like I just could not, like my mind won't wrap around that concept of staying busy around the house.
Right.
You
No,
know what I mean?
not at all.
Even though there's plenty to do,
Of course.
I just I was going crazy. I'm not gonna even lie, I was going crazy. And so because I had a huge transition, I was really trying to settle myself. Like you've never had the opportunity to really stay home and be intentional and spend time with your kids either. And so, try to wrap your mind around that. And so I remember sitting in church one Sunday, and our pastor was just talking about being on assignment and being intentional about the season that you're in. And I was sitting there listening, like, okay, so what's going on in this season of my life? How can I be more intentional? And he started, saying it doesn't matter what your job is. If you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're this, if you're that, really be intentional, in your assignment in this season. So I went home and I'm like, okay, God, what should I be doing? Like, what is it that I should be doing? And I was not ready to hear like wash the dishes, because that is not the call on my life, right?
No, seriously. I mean, I fight that to this day, that I am not domesticated, and I don't want to do any of the housework if I don't have to. So
I would work 40 hours a week. I told my daughter even just last night, I said, I don't know about the whole past lives and all that, but I do know that in a life that's not my own right now, I was a queen or something. Like people were like drawing me baths and, waving feathers at me. Like I was a queen somewhere, because this life that I have, it's like I'm waiting on my servants to come and, lift me up and carry me around, but that's not happening. So, you got to wash the dishes sometime. But so what happened is I kind of started digging into, what God has for me, in the season of, like even right now, like we have a season of stillness in a sense, a season where we can calm ourselves and find some peace if we try, really hard to. Even in my house, when there's so many people now, it is hard to find quiet, although we don't have to really go anywhere. It's like, even though I'm at home, it's a little harder to find peace, And so I had to really get to a place where, I had to find peace and really just, ask God, what is it that you will have for me in this season of my life? And so I felt really encouraged to start, praying more often for myself, start praying more often with my kids, kind of teaching them prayer and just things that I felt like I was doing, but I wasn't intentional with doing. And so to fast forward, because when I started digging into those different ways of, kind of leading my family on the assignment in the season of being a stay-at-home mom, I published a prayer journal, and it was
Ooh, okay.
really in the really the everything that I learned doing the the assignment of teaching my kids, and me being still and sitting in prayer and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
I had published a prayer journal, and so I was like, okay. And it wasn't like overnight. It took a while, and it was very prayerfully thought out. But I was thinking, like, God, like, I can do this. And before that, actually, I'm sorry, I skipped a part. I started blogging. And so
Okay.
I started blogging. I started a blog, because what happened is, because I'm not domesticated, let's just say domesticated. I
Yes.
wanted to help busy moms be able to function as a normal a normal mom, but really be
Mm-hmm.
able to seek God too, because I think it's important, like, to just really to have faith, and to really kind of know our source, and for me it's Jesus Christ. But so to really be able to help moms in the same situation that I am, like, we're still moms, we still need just quiet time. And even in that
Yes.
quiet time, if you read a book, if you pray, whatever it is that you do in that quiet time,
Mm-hmm.
have some quiet time, have some peace. If you're looking for ways to pray in 5 minutes, just different things like that. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
started the blog, because I wanted to be able to share my faith, but I also wanted, women to know, like, listen, you're not in this by yourself. And so that grew into me wanted to create the prayer journal. So I created the prayer journal, and from
What's the name of
there,
it?
I
What's the
just
name of your prayer journal?
pray in the midst of the hustle.
Pray in the midst of a hustle. Oh,
Of the
cool.
hustle.
Of
Yep.
the hustle. Okay.
Yeah. So, so it's just really encouraging us to pray, even though, we're hustling and bustling as moms and entrepreneurs and wives, and, all the things that we have to do
Mm-hmm.
in this life. Like, we still have to stop, get us some peace. However, we
Mm-hmm.
find peace. And for me,
Yes.
it's through prayer. And so I published the prayer journal, and I was like, yay, so excited. And I was so excited because I've never done anything like that. Like I said, like, I was a cosmetologist, and I was growing businesses and things like that. But, like, I didn't think that I could, like, create a prayer journal. And the prayer journal within itself is, it's not a guided journal, but it guides you on how to pray daily, how to
Okay.
engage in scripture, just different ways to do that in a timely fashion, right? If you
Right.
have 5 minutes, then you say a daily prayer, you say affirmations, you pray for your family, and you pray for others. And if you have more time, you dig into scriptures and do Bible studies and things like that. And so I created that because that's what I was doing during my, I don't want to say
Mm-hmm.
downtime, because it wasn't downtime during my
Right.
mom time, right?
Right.
My time of staying at home. But I wanted to be able to share that with others, and that's what I did. But because of that, and because of my blog, like, I just feel like the doors open for me to do so many other things. And so I started doing vision board workshops. A lot of it came together because during the time that I was creating my prayer journal, I was also vision boarding. And so as a result of prayer and vision, I started doing vision board parties. And let me tell you, a lot of times, like, when our mind starts to open up with different opportunities, it's like, for one, God, like, how does this go together?
Hey, it's April here. We had some technical difficulties, and when I put it back together, I noticed that there was some overlap from the first part of the conversation to the second part of the conversation. I'd appreciate if you just accept it and move along with it with grace. And here we will continue.
Okay, so in the midst of me doing, my prayer journal and my blog, I was also vision boarding. And I had put on my vision board that I was going to create a book, and I was going to, start a blog and create a book, and all this kind of stuff, right? People put stuff on their vision board that they want.
Right.
That's what people do, right?
That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the whole point. But when I started my blog, and then I actually did publish a book, I was like, oh, this is kind of creepy. I know that God honors vision and, it's all these things. But for me, I mean, like, I literally was like, I have never done anything like this in my life. I've never like been so intentional, I would say, about things in my life, because even with my jobs, somebody had given me things to do. So even though I was independent on growing, the business, but they told me what to do. They gave me ways to grow it, and I expanded on that. I knew what I needed to do. But in this journey of me blogging and publishing a book, like, I don't, it's like me praying and saying, okay, I don't really know what to do next. I've never done anything like this before. And so when I created a vision board and I seen those things coming to pass, I was like, wait a minute, that stuff works, and I started digging into it and really learning more about it. And so I started having vision board parties.
Okay.
And when I tell you, I don't know. It's crazy when you are in a place where you're doing what you're supposed to do. It just, things happen. I mean, I will, I go in a room and I'm talking to people about vision, and we're creating vision boards, and people are so excited about their future because they literally put pictures on a piece of paper. And the parties that I have, they're not just us looking at the pictures. We're creating a plan. We're goal setting. We're really, digging into goals and what you want your future to look like. But, so there's other aspects around it. But at the end of the day, when they're holding whatever they have, the board or, and all the pictures, it's like the excitement that they have for their future. It's like priceless. It's priceless. And because I've been there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know how you feel, And so I started having vision board parties, and you're going to ask a question because I could talk forever.
I was just going to say, so how did that roll into an actual business for you?
So with the prayer journals and so I have my blog, and with my prayer journals, like, I sell t-shirts, and I'm actually going to have a full-blown, let's cross our fingers, by the middle of next month, I'll have a full-blown, what I call boutique. And it's going to be, I'm going to sell products that inspire women through scripture and quotes. And, I'll sell my prayer journal. I have a couple of books and t-shirts and different things like that. So that is a part of my business. And then I also have Pray and Create events, which is my vision board parties and kind of the vision, like the painting parties. So I have different events like that, like where I'll even do, birthday parties and go to people and then things like that. So Pray and Create events is really the events where we come and we put our vision on paper. And so it can be through painting, it can be through my actual vision board where we put in pictures and things on the paper, but it's just really putting your vision to the paper. And I've had the amazing opportunity, which, like I said, like, when you are starting to do things and it opens the door for me to be a vision mentor. And so I have been, and this is I'm continuing strategies to really kind of see how far I want to go with being a mentor.
Okay.
Because when I've helped people, I was just helping people because I was helping them after the vision board parties, so they had amazing visions and they're like, how do I get to this next step? And so I would kind of mentor them to that place, not knowing that was like going to be an additional service that I provided. And so vision mentoring is one of the things that I have been doing to really help, mostly I would say Christian businesses, because I do encourage spiritual development. I believe that where I'm going, not even where I'm at, where I am going, I believe that God is guiding my journey, and that because I believe in that, I have to stay connected to Him. And so I believe that spiritual development is important. If that's if that's what we believe, right? And
Right.
so there are a ton of Christian business owners who kind of believe that same thing, but need encouragement and spiritual development and growing their business God's way. And so I have so much. I have my
I
blog.
see. I see. So in the
I'm
vision
very
board
important.
parties, do you update your vision board when you do a new party? Do you update it and keep pushing
Um,
yourself to the next vision?
Well, yes. And so it's so crazy because every time I go to a vision board party, I'm like, "Ooh, I love your vision board." It's like so, like people are so creative. Let me tell you, I'm like, man,
Yes, they
I thought
are.
that my kids will say I did the most, or I'm so extra. Like I think that I'm extra. I don't have my I don't have it in front of me, but even my prayer journal has a vision board in the back of it,
Okay.
and I have like all this little frilly stuff hanging out of it, and
Right.
all of that. But yes, like I get so many ideas to even expand my vision even more, and so like I do, like I said, my prayer journal has a vision board in the back of it, so like I can always add stuff to that, opposed to my
Okay.
big one. My big one is up on my wall, and
Mhm.
so I don't take it down and put it back up. My husband will have to do that. And I know he's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? So I leave it up. I leave
Right.
it up on the wall. And then, I can adjust the one that I have in my prayer
Gotcha.
journal. But it most definitely, like, I always get ideas and just different things. Like I've done a vision board at a conference, which that was like, I didn't even like see myself doing anything like that. It was actually a book, like a Christian book publishing conference, and I actually
Okay.
did 2 classes there, and I ended it with the vision board workshop and encourage writers to write,
Okay.
and use their vision board as a tool to get them to finishing that book and really opening up the doors to the other things that they want. And vision is so important. I mean, I think I know everybody's heard that people perish for a lack of knowledge or a lack of vision. And when when someone doesn't have vision, it's almost like they're hopeless, like they have nothing to look forward to. And it is so sad when I see people and they don't even know what their next steps in life is. Like they're just living. Like
Yeah.
I'm just going to work every day, but and we don't want to be so consumed by, what I'm doing next year and what I'm doing, you know what I mean? Like we don't want to be consumed by that, but we need expectation.
I
If we
think
don't have
that's
expectation,
I think
oh my
that's
gosh.
definitely one of the things that helps people thrive, because when
Hmm.
they set forth their expectations, they have a goal, they have something to work towards to, and they have something to look forward to. They have something
Right.
that awakens their spirit to take that next step.
Yes.
And when you don't have it, I think it becomes hard, because if you don't know what your next step is, or you don't know which direction to even go, then you don't really have any motivation to do anything. And
Right.
I mean, vision
Right.
boarding I've got actually 2 in here. So as you talk about
Yeah.
vision boards, I got one really big
I
one and
love
one I
it.
did at an event. Um, and
Yep.
actually, I think I'm going to combine the 2 probably in the next couple of weeks. But, I've
Yeah.
always find it enlightening to do it. And I always separate mine. So I have kind of categories between faith,
Yep.
fitness, family, finance. You see, I like alliteration, so I do everything in a
Yeah.
alliterative
It's okay.
pattern, and I separate it because different goals are in different areas of your life. So I want to make sure, like, I have a strong family between my marriage and between being a mother, and then I have money. Like, where do I want to go? And it
Yeah.
helps. The vision part of it, the board part of it, helps you hone in and remember what your goals are. So that's why one of
Yeah.
the reasons I have mine up in my bedroom, because when I wake up, I can look at it
Yep.
every single day. I
Yep.
can look at it. I just glance over and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I'm working towards. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a constant reminder to just keep going. So
Yeah. And I
where do
think
you
we
think your
need those
business is going
reminders.
to go? Sorry.
Oh, girl, that's a loaded question. And so, my business is actually Pray Enterprises LLC.
Okay.
And under Pray Enterprises is Pleading Mom, which is my blog, and that's where I have my shop as of right now. But Pleading Mom is going to be going into a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
And so that's what my intentions on when this quarantine is over, to be able to come out of it and saying that I'm at least in the beginning, like processes of having the nonprofit started. When I was going through my divorce, and because I work with so many women, I was really in a bad place. Like, I was depressed, and I went through therapy and counseling in my church, and I stayed in prayer, and that's how I feel like I got through it. But me going through therapy and things like that really helped me. But those are the personal things that a lot of women go through that they don't want to talk about. And not even just with divorce, just, postpartum depression.
Yes.
I don't know, like, we get depressed so easy because we have so many things on our plate. And a lot of times we don't know how to express our feelings, or we don't have help. And it's just so many things. And so a piece of it was my emotional imbalances, I would say. But I had a lot of issues emotionally. And then I had a very difficult time financially. I had to file my divorce by myself. Like, I didn't have I didn't have a support system, because, like I said, I had moved here from Minnesota to Jacksonville, so I didn't know a lot of people, and my church supported me as much as I could. But there's so many, like, and that's just a little part of my story. But there are so many women that I mentor, and just volunteer, mentoring, that are going through that and so much more. And I want to give them an outlet. I mean, like, I would love, like, I have a huge vision for it. And I'm still, researching, but I would love for me to be able to help women financially, to be able to, pay for childcare, or to be able to, be able to have a lawyer to be able to help them through their divorce. Because a lot of women, if they're in a position to where they were stay-at-home moms, or even if they work, sometimes if they work, it's almost worse, because, and I'm not bashing men or anything like that, but a lot of times the men, if the women didn't make as much money, the men can afford a lawyer, where when, the women aren't able to afford a lawyer, and they just kind of get the short end of the stick. And I'm not about the battling and the fighting, but I believe in being fair. And a lot of times, if we don't have the funding, the finances to be able to help us, we just get the short end of the stick. And so, and not just in the divorce piece of it, but just having a support system to be able to help, I would love to have, like, a childcare where these women can go, and take their kids during this time. Because I'm gonna tell you, because I had to step down from the position that I had, I was working so many hours. Like, my kids were going from one daycare that was open in the daytime to a daycare that was open at night. I was paying so much money. Like, I was paying like rents for childcare, and it was difficult. And it was in a transition period where, you don't get child support yet because you're not even divorced. Like, it was like, the transition of, I don't even know what I would get, with child support, or am I going to get child, and so many women go through that. And what happens is you lose yourself, you lose your job, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of women have to go through a process of starting over. And I want to help eliminate women from going through that. If I don't even know, like, if it's just me calling them, praying for them, babysitting their kids, you know what I mean? Helping them find a lawyer that, is willing to even give them a discount. I don't know, I don't know what it all looks like right now, but that is my vision for Pleading Mom. And then Pray Boutique is where I am transitioning my boutique to where I have my book, like I have my prayer journal. I actually published a book. I'm in a collaboration called Unshakable Faith. And in that book, it talks about, my divorce and what I did during that divorce and kind of getting, the help that I got and transition into us being remarried. And then I'm also in another book collaboration that it's a devotional though. And so my fingers are crossed that it'll be released in about a month. So that's a devotional to help, just women when they're going through difficult times. And so all of those will be in my shop, plus t-shirts and jewelry, and just different pieces will be in my boutique, and then my vision mentoring services. So along with my my vision mentor services and vision board parties through prayer and create events. So it's a lot. I'm putting it all together. By the time I got this quarantine, it's gonna all come together. But it's a huge vision, and I'm really excited. About it, and I'm going to really just go with just continue to go with it, because I just see it being something really, really big.
Awesome. So I think we're almost done. So do you want to tell us where we can find you online?
Absolutely. I'm literally everywhere.
Okay.
You can check out my blog at pleadingmom.com. That's PLEADINGMOM. So pleadingmom.com. Just check out the inspiration. Subscribe to the blog or the newsletter. I even have a area on there where my daughter blogs, my 20-year-old. So
nice. Okay.
She is
what does she blog
encouraging
about?
people. Yeah, she has a devotional. She's doing like a 7-week devotional on what is love, and talking about God's love in different ways. So it's really cool to see her look, her outtake on all that. So, and then I am on Facebook at Pleading Mom. I am on Instagram at Pleading Mom, and I'm also on Instagram at Pray Boutique, and Twitter at Pleading Mom. So I'm everywhere. So if you look for Pleading Mom, you'll find me.
All right. And don't worry, I'll put this all in the show notes so people will be able to see and click on it and figure out exactly where you are. And thank you so much for coming by and interviewing with me. And it's wonderful. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
No, thank you for the opportunity.